Hello, hello, it's Julie at Love's Beginning. I'm going to begin and end with happy healing today because, in recognition that we're all allowing our minds to heal and that it can be intense at any moment, but the help we need is always with us and it never leaves us. So, the talk I have today is called Another Voice to Hear. And the first statement I was given is the sense of distress means that the ego is attempting to make sense of something senseless and you are listening to it. So that helped me. Anything that can stop me in my tracks midstream when I'm very busy listening to thoughts from ego, which I do every day with great devotion at times. Anything that can stop me in my tracks is helpful. And so having it framed for me in that way, the ego is attempting to make sense of something senseless. It's sending me that thought. Here's something that sounds logical about something nonsensical, but it's going to seem real to you. And the ego sends it to me, and then I buy it. I believe it. That's my part. So more and more it's about relaxing into that moment, seeing I've been going in one direction, and just stopping and relaxing into what's here for me. And that priority can be my first priority when I know that the ego can only feed me senselessness, no matter how logical it makes it seem, no matter how it dresses the thoughts up to say, hey, these thoughts will lead to your advancement. These thoughts will lead to your personal happiness. These thoughts will lead to your recognition. No matter how it dresses it up, ego is trying, it's presenting me something, and it made sense of something senseless. And I am the one who can stop listening to it. So that leaves the power with me, with you, with everybody. So that was helpful to see. And then the next statement is the first thing you can do when you notice you are listening to ego is to stop. How many times have I been told this? You can stop because there is another voice to hear. But to have it just boiled down to the basics is anything else that we would want to judge, either out there in what seems to be the world or closer to us in what seems to be our personal life. The most important thing about that temptation is the ability to stop listening to judgments. Now, ego is going to shout and scream and fuss and send shouting thoughts at us, send screaming thoughts at us, send judging thoughts at us when we recognize that we don't have to listen to it. So we have to be able to develop the presence of mind to sit through that and understand it's just doing what I designed it for. Its function is to hold my attention. I built ego to do that, and it's just functioning as I built it. It's powerful because the mind of a creator dreamed it up, right? We're all creators. But it's only powerful because love is what I am and what everything is and what everybody is under the surface. And that is the only power that exists. And it's more important to put my attention on just that than on any specifics the ego's sending me. And as I learn to put my attention on just the reality of love under every surface that looks different, then what feel like different specifics can reach me. Just simple practical guidance, ordering my day, telling me to go left or right or do this or that, organizing my day. I can trust that. But first, I have to not trust the first voice that speaks, the voice I trained myself to listen to, and the voice I listen to because of a desire to block out our harmonic voice that can always speak to me too. Okay, The next one is there's something to relax into, and it's our shared identity, the sameness of the identity of all. From here, there's no need to pick out separate parts and label, judge, and analyze them. So when I'm with another person or thinking of another person and experiencing any difficulty, no matter how slight, it helps me to remember that what I'm relaxing into is the identity I share with that one. I'm not relaxing away from that one. I'm not withdrawing away from that one. When I kind of allow myself to sink down into presence, I am sinking down into what they truly are under the surface. And as any of us sink down into that relaxation where we're not able to judge anyone or anything separately, we're just in presence. It's not like it's a presence I have and they don't have. It's what I'm sinking down into is my willingness to see their innocence, my willingness to see that they are guided, my willingness to see that they are led, my willingness to see our equality now. That's what I'm sinking into. Nothing that would take me away from them. Something that unifies us. That's what I relax into. And if I have a thought system that tells me I need to sink into this presence, which is a withdrawal from what they are, then that gets confusing for me. Or I might be unwilling to relax into this presence because I think I have to be what the ego calls more present with that personality, with that body. So when I can see through that, that leaves me free to relax into what we all are together and to trust that to take care of every situation I'm in, to supply me with the words and the actions that I need to carry out if I need to share anything in that way. It's awkward though, because when we're going from something we've trained ourselves to do for lifetimes, to listen to the ego, to promote my will, not thy will, or some twisted version of thy will that we would use to, judge another, which isn't our shared will at all. When I've trained myself over lifetimes to listen to the voice that can't be, never will be mine or yours, there's an awkward period as we learn to really allow this voice to guide us in all things. And I just wanted to recognize that and say it's okay, because we're still held and carried and loved through every moment of that experience. Okay. You look deeply enough into the heart of anything, and reality is all that's left. So that's another pointer I've gotten that's been very helpful for me when I'm with someone and experiencing any slight difficulty, or when I'm just thinking of someone and experiencing even a very slight or minor difficulty in the mind, any disturbance of feeling. My guidance here, which I don't always do when I'm learning to do more and more, I don't withdraw away from it. I don't try to seal myself off from it. I'm learning this, still in the middle of it. I dive right into it. I look deeply into the heart of anything at all. Sometimes I might only be able to do that when I'm not with the person, when I'm just thinking of them, because that seems easier. That's a fine start. That's a fine start. Thinking of them is the same as being with them. So if they come to mind and there's any disturbance, I can remind myself, if I look deeply into them, not seal myself off from them to regain what I call equilibrium, I look deeply into what they are. Reality is what I reach. Love is what I reach. Light is what I reach. And then the surface of them, or any past I associate with them, or the body, or any personality I associate with them, is irrelevant. It's not important. What's important is what they are, because it's what I am, because it's what you are. And so more and more I have these moments to go into that surrender and to notice and to appreciate. Okay, when you're receiving these messages, you have to wait to let the next statement be given to you, and it is practice. It is the same, I found this very interesting, whether you are the writer, reader, listener, or speaker of this message. And I'm thinking, yeah, it does feel like a practice and a training. I have to focus consistently upon what's real to receive it. But to receive it, I can see that if I'm reading it, if I'm writing it, if I'm speaking it, if I'm listening to it, and I do all of those. I listen to the messages again. I usually don't read them again, except for proofreading, but I listen to them again because they're for me. It's not just I'm telling people who don't know something for their benefit. The message is for me, and so I do listen to it multiple times. Let me just see if I'm still recording here. Yeah, I am. Okay. I listen to it multiple times. That doesn't mean you have to, though. It's just, it really is for me. And if it's for somebody else, then I'm happy about that benefit too. But what did I appreciate about that? To see that we have to be in receptivity to speak the words, to write the words, to read the words, to listen to the words. And it feels like it trains me into this frequency of willingness to see what's true, to see what's the same in everything, and to learn to really look through any difference and ask consistently to be guided, to be led in the position of not knowing what's what, basically. When I'm going to allow myself to be guided, I don't really know, as a separated out personality or ego, what's what in this world. I don't know, but I can be shown and I can be led. So to be led more and more and be shown this place of openness, I feel a lot of gratitude for that. So hope everything's going well for you. Again, I know it can be intense as we're led through what isn't to what is, and learning to drop our attachment to what is not and never was and never can be. But I am wishing you happy healing.